Hi guys, my name is Nonima Dikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about what something that Judge Rata talked about today in court. One of the things he mentioned, the common purpose, when he was asking about what is the defense thinking about the documents that Baloyi did not finish them. We'll talk about that in a separate video. But right now, it got me thinking about the common purpose situation. So I got a question, friends, we were having a discussion on a live on TikTok, and then someone was like, what happens when I choose 3, 4, and 5 if they got a strong alibi? And what happens to the so-called common purpose? And I'm adding that, and also the so-called confessions and pointing out of Mose. So what's going to happen when it comes to that? We all know that all of those things go straight to the core of the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial and how South African criminal law treats common purpose, confessions, and alibis. So if I choose number 3 and 5, let's say Mube and Julie and 3, 4, and 5, Mube and Julie and Mapisa have strong alibis, it can completely change the landscape of the entire case, especially if the state's theory is built on common purpose and alleged confessions or pointing out from others like Sibia and from DATS. So let's unpack all of that very carefully. This is us going through what's going on in that case and learning new things. Number one, what is a common purpose, or what does it mean? When we talk about common purpose, what does that mean? In South African law, common purpose means that even if not everyone physically committed the act, like pulling the trigger, they can all be found guilty if they acted together with a shared intent to commit the crime. We know this, right? But it only applies if the state can prove, number one, they were present or participating, number two, and they shared the same intent or actively associated with the crime. Okay? So if I choose 3, 4, and 5, have solid alibis, the state can't prove either of those points, then the case, there's no case there. So we know if there's not, in fact, we see all the time when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa case, there is no cause for 2014 that deals with that particular part of planning. There's nothing. There's no one that says there is one person, it's Zungu, who says he saw them. There's no one to collaborate with Zungu, corroborate with Zungu about that. There's no one from the hostel residents, or whatever, someone that says, I agree with what Zungu says. It's only him. And also, him is very questionable. There's a lot of speculations and questions when it comes to his testimony, right? The second thing that can happen is that what happens if they have strong alibi, and what happens to the common purpose? It collapses because there is somewhere where they were. If the alibis place them somewhere else entirely at the time of the murder, and the court finds the alibi credible and corroborated, then they cannot be part of any common purpose to kill Senzo Meyiwa. So in short, you can't share a purpose in a crime you weren't physically or mentally part of. That means the common purpose argument fails, and those accused must be acquitted. Must be acquitted unless there's independent proof that they contributed in another way, like planning, supplying weapons, or aiding afterwards. We all know that the cell phone of accused number 3 was used to take pictures. And in those pictures, there is accused number 3, number 4, and number 5. And those pictures were taken after 5 o'clock, from 5 o'clock onwards towards the late hours, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, somewhere there. So they show that time frame, and that goes in with the time of when Senzo Meyiwa died. Do you understand? About 7 o'clock. So it shows also accused number 3 was at George Off at 8:30. So it can't be that when that incident was happening in Vosloorus, he was there also. If his phone says I was here, and then it can't, like something is not making sure, something is not making sense. Yeah, so that's what it means there. And the third thing, effect on the confessions. If one accused like Muzi Sibiya or Bongani Ndadzi allegedly made a confession that mentions or implicates others, that confession cannot automatically be used against the co-accused, right? The law says each confession is only admissible against the person who made it, unless the state can independently link the others through separate admissible evidence. So if 3, 4, and 5 have solid alibis, the court will treat Sibiya on Dadzi's alleged confession with extreme caution because now these 3 have alibis. The confession loses weight because the supposed team no longer fits the evidence. It creates reasonable doubt about the entire common purpose claim. Yeah, number 4, what about pointing out? Pointing out, like showing where something happened or identifying a location, are only valid against the person who made them if they were done freely, voluntarily, and truthfully. If I choose 3, 4, and 5 were not present at the crime and didn't participate in those point outs, the point outs can't implicate them. Even if another I choose pointed out something claiming it involved them, it's hearsay unless supported by direct evidence, which currently we do not have that. We do not have that. And also Muzi is rebutting that he did that pointing out on his own willingly. He was forced, coerced. That's what he says. Number 5, if the possible outcomes of that entire situation, if the alibis are believed by the judge, this is what happens legally. They are acquitted because they couldn't have participated. The common purpose theory collapses. The alleged confessions become unreliable since they don't match the proven facts. The state's case appears fabricated or poorly investigated. It strengthens the defense argument that police forced the false confessions to fit a false narrative. So that's what happens when it comes to all of this, but time will tell. Number 6, strategic advantage for defense when it comes to all of that. Once 3, 4, and 5 show they were elsewhere, defense can argue that all 5 accused were falsely linked together. It questions why the police claimed they acted in common purpose. The remaining evidence, ballistics, phone records, etc., will be viewed through a lens of doubt now. Already, the forensic, which is ballistic, phone records, is also in question. So, all of that. So the standard becomes, if they lied about these 3, what else did they lie about? That's what that's where it's going at this point when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa case against the 5 accused. And wider implications, number 7, if the alibis are proven, the state's credibility crumbles. The alleged mastermind theory, 5 hitmen working together, falls apart. There could be cause for reopening the investigation, possible to look at new suspects or police misconduct, which is something that is needed for the Senzo Meyiwa case, if you ask me. That's something that is needed for the Senzo Meyiwa case, if you ask me. That is something that is needed. So in summary, from what I was saying, if I choose 3, 4, and 5 have strong verified alibis, the common purpose falls away, or theory, it dies, sana. The second thing, the confessions and pointing out lose the value that they normally have. And number 3, the state case may collapse, kesana lam. Number 4, it could expose serious flaws or manipulation in the original investigation. So that is exactly where we are when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa case. I don't know about you, but I feel like Ubaloy does not even see those things. Don't even look at those things that way. Don't even care about the cell phone evidence that said I choose number 3, 4, and 5 were not there. He doesn't care about those things. All he cares about is that, these people were there. And he's trying by all means necessary to make sure Because if this court was a competent court as it should, because things happen in that court of Judge Ratha, in a competent court, I choose number 3, I choose number 4 and 5, have all hinted at strong alibis through the cell phone evidence, to understand, and the pictures, and their metadata is also very much important when it comes to this. So I think that matters a lot. And if the court accepts those alibis, it could blow up the entire foundation of the case yesterday. It could blow it up. I don't think Ubaloyi is ready for those things. And also, when Judge Ratha likes talking about the common purpose, guys. So the state case has been built around that idea of common purpose, that all 5 men acted together with one shared intent to kill Senzo Meyiwa case. So Senzo Meyiwa sent by Kelly Khumalo. But the catch is you can't share a purpose in a crime you were never part of. If 3 of them, some were somewhere else, that common purpose falls apart completely. But we will see, time will tell. It's a lot, guys. Even the so-called confessions and pointing out, they crumbled a long time ago, because they need to be clear. It is clear in South African law, it has been made very clear that a confession only counts against the person who made it. So if Judge Ratha wants it to count, it will count against Bongani Ntanzi, against Mmusi Sibiya. But then again, they said Mmusi Sibiya's confession was misleading. I don't know whether they are going to be selective when it comes to that. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of broken chains of evidence that is happening here in the Senzo Meyiwa case. So we are going to see what's going to happen. But sorry, there's a lot of because if the court believes the alibi of 3, 4, and 5, that means at least 3 people are accused of this. The murder of Senzo Meyiwa has nothing to do with it, and that creates a reasonable doubt across the entire case. In fact, I guess that's where we are as people who are like, something is very off with this, because if police and prosecutors link the wrong people, how can we trust the rest of the evidence? How do we do that? How do we do that? So there's a lot of things that needs to be checked when it comes to all of that. But what I can do is to ask you to do me a favor. In the end, justice needs to be prevailing. And also, justice isn't just about conviction. It's about the truth. The alibi, if the alibis are proved to be true, then the South Africa deserves to know who really killed Senzo Meyiwa. We do deserve to know that. We do. So please, guys, while you are busy watching the case and also following the channel, kindly please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you follow Noni M podcast every day and everything that is posted, and the notification bell, please make sure. And then we will always unpack the drama that happens in that courtroom of Judge Ratha. You know how it ends. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming through for the juicy details on this case here on this channel. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.